team, thank you so much for joining me here with the Illustrator Daily Creative Challenge. I am Clary and I'm your host throughout these 2 weeks of amazing Illustrator challenges. I hope that you're having fun if you have been here before, and I hope you'll have fun today if this is your first day. I can see so many amazing people in the chat. Ciao Lucia, I can see Tunk. And Tunk is saying waiting for the cat. Someone has been checking out my social media. We'll get to that in a second. As you can see, I have a little bit of a little hint on my t-shirt as well. I can see Keith, PM, George from New York City, Colby, Carol, Jacob, thank you so much. Jacob, I'm glad that you're hyped. We're gonna have fun. Shannon from Florida, and then we have Austin, Alejandro from Costa Rica. Let me know where you're from. I can see Aska, Arefa. We had a little bit of a chat today on Discord earlier, giving a feedback of your work. But before we move further, let me just give a little bit of a quick tip to those of you that are starting today for the first time. Today we are on challenge number 6, but you can start from today and then maybe catch up in your free time or during the weekend. In order to get started and participate with me at the challenge working together, make sure to go into our amazing landing page, and let me make sure that you can see my laptop here so we can go into our beautiful landing page. This is my Behance page, but the place where you have to head is behance.net/challenge/illustrator. This is the fantastic landing page that I was talking about. You can see the link here, and this is the landing page that holds the entire information that you're gonna need in order to join and participate to the challenge. First thing first, join the challenge by clicking on the big blue button, and then you will see every single day the challenges will unveil into our landing page. As you can see, today we are playing with geometric shapes and a grain, and we're gonna build some characters into Illustrator. Also, if this is your first time, you can download the Illustrator app with a free trial by clicking here on download Illustrator, and make sure to join our community chat. That's what I was talking about before with RFM. I can see my mom in the chat. My parents are during the lockdown are loving the Adobe products. So you know you can always learn no matter how old you are. As I was saying, the best place to join me after the stream and where you're gonna publish your challenge, your version of the challenge, is Discord, our community chat. So make sure to click on join us in order to be transported into our amazing world that is Discord. This is a server, a chat server that allows us to exchange information, as you can see here on the side. Oops, my screen went all over. So as you can see from the screen, I'm actually gonna fly on the other side of the screen in order to show you the correct channel, because those are gonna be the only place where your work is gonna be reviewed. So I'm just gonna zoom in here. After you click into Discord, make sure to follow into feedback and then challenge. This is the place where you publish your actual work by clicking on this little plus. As you can see, you have already blown my mind with these past challenges. I'm absolutely loving to see what you guys are doing. Super creative. I'm having fun to look at your work. I've seen so many colorful, amazing illustration. And something that I want to mention, as usual, this is a safe space. For some reason, some challenges are easier for you, some can be harder. Don't worry, we're all here learning. This morning Buruval started with a stream. Actually, let me jump real quick on the schedule since I was mentioning Buruval. So as you can see here on the Adobe Live, there is a full day to stay together and stay creative with so many amazing streamers, but most of all with so many of you here into the live chat. I can see Emmer, nice to see you. We were chatting before in Discord as well. I can see Andrew, Leonie, Anna. I know my friend Giovanna is there as well. Michelle, nice to see you. Julian, Jonathan, thank you so much for joining me. But as I was mentioning, this morning started with Voodoo Val at 7:30. flirty with a Star Wars theme illustration. I had a blast. I learned so much by watching your stream. I strongly recommend it to go and have a look. And she was also mentioning that, you know, even if I'm here teaching, I'm more often there in the chat and in Discord getting inspired and learning every single day. So after we had Paul Trani with the Photoshop Daily Creative Challenge, followed by Lisa Marie and Julia. They've just finished a moment ago here in illustration, creating some amazing work. And now we're here for the Illustrator Daily Creative Challenge number 6, followed by Adobe XD Workflow and Pro Tips with Marisa Blair. And then again, another challenge, Adobe XD with our Pinsky. And we're gonna close the day with Adobe Spark, Paul Trani, and Veronica Belmont. What an amazing busy day for all of you and for me that I always stick around and I learn new techniques and sharpen my skills here in Adobe Live with this amazing community. We can never feel alone. But let me jump back real quick into Discord. Make sure to submit your work because in order to have it reviewed, ask questions, give me a shout. I have many of you that send me also private messages for questions. I'm happy to answer to them, but also hit the main challenge channel so we can all share tips together. But something else that I have to mention before to get started, so we can all get started, is to head back to our landing page. So on behance.net/challenge/illustrator, and another resource that you can find here are the starter files. As you can see, each one of these little cards that contain the challenges also contain a link that says get started. So as I say, today is challenge number 6, illustrated characters, and all you have to do is to click on get started in order to get the file. So I'm just going to give you a minute for all of you to sync, and I'm going to have a look in the chat. I can see Val there. Val, I absolutely loved your stream. Your outfit was spot on, and all the tips that you gave and about, you know, working, I was literally creating some work and I was just trying to wing it and find a way to create new textures. So I'm absolutely on the same page. Absolutely a blast. I love to be here with you and to be part of the community. It's an absolute honor for me. I can see Pietro from Lecce. I actually found a graphic designer from my hometown in the south of Italy, and very, very nice to see you here. Let me know where all of you are connecting from. So I'm just gonna jump straight away into Illustrator. I can see Yolanda from Texas, and I'm gonna jump into Illustrator. Hopefully by now you have downloaded the started file because it's time to get busy. I never have enough time here. I always want to show you so many techniques, and let's see if we get started. Here we go. So this should be your starter file, simple shapes. And I'm gonna show you a little bit of a preview before we get started for you to get an idea. So the reason why I mentioned cats at the beginning of the chat is because I run a little a poll into my Instagram. Let's see if we can have a look here into my Instagram stories. And I asked if you wanted to draw cats or dogs, and looks like cats once. So while I was watching with Uval stream, I ended up creating this little illustration, and I'm gonna teach you how to achieve that into Illustrator. And I'm gonna jump back into Illustrator to get started. So the very first thing is to have always a reference. Now my reference has been my cat, but I strongly recommend you perhaps just to go in Adobe Stock and search for cats, but always have a reference. I actually have reference here in my other screens, so make sure to find your reference. I didn't want to influence you with any particular inspiration because it's such a broad theme in terms of characters. You do not have to draw a cat. That's something that I'm gonna do today, but I look forward to see what you come up to. It can be a penguin, it can be a person, it can be a flower. The whole objective is to learn how to use these simple shapes in order to put them together to create something a little bit more appealing. So I'm going to go ahead and start by clicking with my selection tool, my black arrow, and holding Option in order to create a copy. These allow me to use the same shapes over and over again instead of having to redraw them. So the first thing that I want to bring your attention to are those little white dots. If I click on it and bring in my direct selection tool, I can activate these little dots. As you can see, they become red. there is a little bit of a red outline, and by pulling in, you'll see that they create corner into any shapes. Now, if you only want to select one at a time, just click with the direct selection tool, and as you can see, you will have one single corner highlighted in red. Is this one here on the very top. And when you're gonna use your little dot, only one corner is gonna be selected. I'm gonna press Command Z to undo. And in this case, I'm gonna go ahead and select the first corner and then Alt Shift and select the other corner. And I'm gonna pull in order just to have the very top of our square. So we can start to create our little kitty face. Now, some of you know that pets and in general animals have a little bit of a top on the head, so it's not completely flat just because of the way the skeletal bone is created. We can add the point into our square by clicking on play and triggering our pen tool. And here, roughly in the middle, again, nature is always creates always amazing possibilities. So when you create characters, I always suggest a little bit loose, but if you want to, you can make sure that you have these smart guides on by going into view and smart guides over here. They will help you to find the center if that's something that you would like, while what I did is just simply placing a point. I'm gonna undo just to show you. When you go over a stroke, a path with your pen tool, you will see that there is a little path, a little plus appearing next to our pen tool that shows us that we can add the point to the current path. And now that I've added my point, I'm just gonna drag it out a little bit just to have this little bone on top of the head of our cat. And again, I'm just gonna make it a little bit more curvy here and create a curve so it's not too sharp. Just like so. And we are done with the ears to start. Then I'm gonna start with one of these triangle. I'm gonna click and drag, and I'm gonna do pretty much the same things over here. I'm gonna click on my 8 direct selection tool, click on the very top arrow, and start to bring this little ear in. And I'm gonna select it and holding Shift in order to constrain proportion, drag down the corner of our box. Now, something that happened today while I was working and never happened before is that my little square that is around my shape disappeared, and I couldn't transform and move my shape anymore. So by mistake, I hit a shortcut, and I learned a shortcut just by trying, and I thought to share with you just in case it happened. So the shortcut in question is Shift Command B. As you can see, it hides the little frame tool around a shape. If for whatever reason you want to hide it, that's the shortcut, Shift Command B. Now I want to make sure that I have it because I'm looking to transform my shape. Something that I wanted to show you also, and I'm just going to create a copy here, is that once I transform the shape, we lose a little bit of a corner. In order to avoid that, you have to go under Window and make sure that you have your transform panel active, and you can click here like exactly what we did with challenge number 3 for the patterns, where it says scale corners. By ticking scales corners, we are gonna preserve the shape of our corners, so no matter how much we're gonna scale our triangle, the curve and the corner is not gonna change. So in order to create the other ear, very simply, I'm gonna click and press on Control and click on Transform, Reflect. We're gonna move it vertically as the image shows us, so it actually reflects on the vertical axis. And I'm just gonna press copy in order to create an outer. Oops, sorry, looks like I said it, but I didn't select it. So again, Control click on your shape and reflect, and here it is, vertical. That's the correct one to select. And we can always click on a preview to make sure that we're doing the right things and then press copy in order to create a copy. And I'm gonna place my other here on the other side. Now, if for whatever reason you do not have an idea, if you're using the exact side of the face and you really wanted to align it to the edge of the cheek, you can select both shape. Make sure to head into our align panel. It should come up when you have searched for your transform panel. Otherwise, you can find it here under Window, and you can go into align to, and oops, I need to select both of those. align to, and align key object. Now, of course, the reason why align to key object wasn't selected is because I only had one. So I've actually selected the face and the ear, click on align object, and now the object highlighted is the ear, but I want to align it to the cheek. Very simple, without any extra click. All I have to do is to select the shape that I want to use as a reference, and then I'm going to align left. And as you can see, the actual ear aligns to the cheek like that. I'm going to click the zoom out, and now that we have our little tiny face, I'm going to select all the shapes and go into our window, Pathfinder, and use Unite in order to create the shape. I'm gonna move a little bit faster because time is never enough, and I also want to show you another amazing tool to give a little bit more of depth into our illustration. So here I'm doing exactly the same. I'm using this little curve for our body here. If you actually head into my Instagram account, you can see that I do have a little cat called Frida, and I'm gonna try to mimic her today. As you can see, I'm selecting the two bottom point in order to move the corner here, and then in order to create the tail, I'm gonna actually use the stroke. So as we learned before, if you joined my previous challenge, click on the shape, shift and X in order to switch the color of the fill and the color of the stroke. So we have a black stroke. I'm gonna give it perhaps 9 points, maybe a little bit more. Maybe actually we should do 20 points for this little tail. And then I'm gonna head into our scissor. I'm gonna head into our direct selection tool by clicking A and selecting the top corner that we do not want, and just simply press delete. The reason why I'm not using the scissor is because I just want to eliminate the point, so we can just select it and delete it. Then clicking into stroke, we make sure that we have our round corner, so we have a nice roundness throughout the image. And then we can simply place it here. If you want to move it into a shape, remember object, path, and outline stroke. You get the gist. Now I'm going to click and select all my image and unite it in order to have one single place shape and work with a grain. I'm going to move into details perhaps in a second, but I really want to show you the color first, because we're really only missing the eyes and the nose to finish with our illustration. So in order to create the shape, first thing that I'm going to do is to click on Command C to copy, and then Command F. Then I'm going to go into my gradient, because I want to create a gradient on this path. As you can see here, we can choose between gradient type, and I'm going to use this beautiful Freeform Gradient, which is the third box on the right. I believe that was a 2019 release. So I'm going to select a few points. For example, my little cat Frida has a yellow point here on the top, and then she has a little bit more of yellow throughout her fur, perhaps like so. And because her other side of the fur is black, I'm going to keep the rest of the point in contrast, still black, and I'm going to give it here a 0% opacity. I'm going to create another black point here and give it 0% opacity. So as you can see, it creates a beautiful gradient going for full black and then moving towards from the black to the color of the fur that you selected. Again, simply choosing this color because I'm referencing my own cat. You feel free to use whatever you want for yours. In order to click a color, once you create a key point for your Freeform Gradient, just click into the color palette and it will pick up the color. Also, you can choose how broad you want the color to be diffused by simply clicking and dragging into this little circle. We're going to talk about gradient in our last stream, so don't worry, I'll focus more on the gradient. Now I want to show you an amazing effect that you find in the menu under effect and texture. It's called grain, and for pet fur I'm going to use a very specific grain. Now let's see if we zoom out, we'll be able to see our grain. I already have it here because I've used it before, but what you want to use is a grain type vertical. So by creating this vertical line and then playing with the intensity of it, I want it quite intense because my little cat has a very solid stripes in a pattern in her coat, in her fur. I'm just gonna press OK. And as you can see, we've created this beautiful fur effect. Now, of course, this is me just going very fast. I just want to jump into the final. Those are other different idea that you can do. Perhaps here I remove it for the forehead, and you can play with the gray. And again, in order to create the eyes, all you have to do is to create 2 circles and play with a triangle, and the same, those are exactly the same shapes that I use for my tail. And I'm gonna press Command Y in order to go into our outline mode to show you that is exactly the same shape. I hope that you guys enjoyed this little stream here. For those of you dog lovers, I decided to give you a little sneaky peek in how to create a dog. So you might want to take a screenshot of this outline, and I'm gonna go back into my normal view, and we have our little doggy here holding a ball. So it's super easy, literally 4 shapes. I utilize a circle and a triangle, and we create those amazing illustrations over here. And this is my little Frida, the cat. So I'm gonna jump real quick into the schedule because today is gone already. I can't believe how fast this stream goes. So I'm gonna jump into the schedule real quick to remind you that there is more creativity coming up. We're gonna have Adobe XD workflow and pro tips with Marisa Blair. Challenge number 3 of the day in XD with the amazing Our Pinsky, and Adobe Spark with Paul Trani and Veronica Belmont to finish this fantastic day on Adobe Live. I have 1 more minute, and I want to use it to make sure to remind you to add into Discord. The link is over here. Remember, those 2 are an I, N, and E. A and I for Illustrator. I actually say that in Italian. And I'll be there reviewing your work, so feel free to give me a shout anytime you want to grab my attention there. Thank you so much for joining me here. It's such a pleasure to be with you. But before we go, I'm gonna take advantage of this very last minute to show you one more thing. I've actually neglected during these days because I've been super busy creating fun stuff with you. And I'm talking about our Behance and our project. So as you can see, I created a Behance project here for our Daily Creative Challenge. You'll be able to upload every single work, and I'm just gonna show you how to do. In this case, I have to click on Edit Project because I already started the project. If you have not done so, make sure to go in Create Project. I can see Wade sharing that Discord link as well. And then here you can find the video, but in this case, all you have to do is to simply upload your work by clicking on this up pointing arrow here. Click and upload from your machine. Is that's super easy, and then click Save. Now, one more thing is, in order to be discovered into our Behance, all you have to do where it says Discoverability, click into Project Tags and use AI Daily Challenge in order to be discovered in our Behance community. So I hope that covers everything for today. I'm gonna click on Save. I'll be updating my little kitten soon. Of course, if you wanna find out more about me, or if you wanna get in touch, make sure to click here on the links in our Behance page. It's been absolutely amazing to be with you here today. Thank you so much for joining me. And of course, I'm gonna be seeing you tomorrow for challenge number 7. Stay tuned for Adobe XD coming up. Thank you so much for being with me, guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.